Welcome, dear traveler of the night. Before we begin, take a deep, gentle breath in through your nose, and let it drift softly out through your mouth. Feel the air move through you, quiet, effortless, alive. And as you breathe again, imagine the day loosening its hold. The sun has set. The world has softened. You've arrived at this moment, this small island of peace between two heartbeats. Wherever you are listening from, perhaps beneath a warm blanket, perhaps in a softly lit room, perhaps somewhere where moonlight touches the walls, know that you are welcome here. If you wish, you may whisper to yourself where you are listening from, or what time of night it is, and then let those words dissolve into the quiet, like ripples disappearing across a still pond. There is nothing to do now. No task to complete. No goal to achieve. Only this, the gentle unfolding of the present moment. Feel your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath move on its own, slow, steady, unhurried. Each breath, a small wave washing upon the shore of your being. Each heartbeat, a reminder that life is flowing within you, just as rivers flow toward the sea, without effort, without command. Tonight's story is about that flow, about the space that exists between two heartbeats, where the whole universe seems to pause and listen. It is a story about releasing control, about surrendering to what is, and about discovering peace not by changing the tide, but by floating upon it. In Zen, there is a saying, when the mind stops grasping, the moon reflects perfectly in the still water. It means that when we stop trying to control what cannot be controlled, when we let go of the need to force, to plan, to worry, life becomes clear and simple again. The moon was always shining. We had only to still the ripples to see it. So tonight, as you rest, you will hear gentle stories, stories carried by wind and water, told by mountains and monks, by travelers and quiet hearts. They are not stories of achievement or triumph, but of quiet realization, of people who, by letting go, found themselves at peace. Let these stories move through you softly, like the sound of rain against bamboo. If your thoughts wander, that is perfectly fine. Thoughts are only clouds drifting across the sky of awareness. Let them pass. You do not need to hold anything. Once, in a small temple nestled between two misty hills, a young monk named Ren Shu tended the evening lamps. Every night, he would light each candle carefully, watching the flames rise and steady, one by one. But this evening, a strong wind blew through the open windows of the hall, extinguishing one flame after another. Frustrated, Ren Shu closed the windows tightly and began to relight the candles. Yet as soon as he turned his back, another gust found its way through the cracks and blew them out again. He sighed, muttering, "Why does the wind fight me tonight?" An old master, sweeping the floor nearby, looked up and smiled. "Perhaps the wind does not fight you," the master said softly. "Perhaps it dances with you." Ren Shu frowned. "But I cannot keep the light steady. I must finish my task." The master set down his broom and blew gently on one of the remaining flames. It flickered, bent, and swayed, but did not go out. "Do you see?" the old man said. "The flame does not resist the wind. It bends with it, moves with it, and in that way, it endures." That night, Ren Shu opened the windows once more. He watched as the wind moved freely through the hall, teasing the candles, making them flicker like golden fish beneath the waves. He stopped trying to control the air and simply tended to the candles that remained. Some went out, others glowed more brightly than before. In the soft dance between light and wind, he felt something loosen within his own heart. When morning came, he realized that peace had entered not when the candles stayed lit, but when he stopped trying to make them stay. Let that image stay with you now. The wind, the candles, the soft acceptance of what is. Notice how, when you stop resisting the breath, it too becomes effortless. How the body breathes itself, and how even sleep will find you naturally, when you stop chasing it. Far away, in a mountain village surrounded by whispering pines, there lived an old woman who tended a small garden beside a stream. Each morning, she carried water from the stream in 2 clay jars balanced across her shoulders. One jar was whole and perfect, the other cracked and leaking. Every day, by the time she reached her garden, the cracked jar was half empty, leaving a trail of damp soil along the path. For many years, the woman said nothing. But one morning, the cracked jar spoke, as all things do in Zen stories. It said, "I am ashamed. Because of my flaw, you work harder. You spill water because of me. I am no use to you." The woman smiled. "Look back at the path," she said. The jar looked behind it and saw a line of wildflowers blooming brightly along the side of the trail, where the water had fallen, day after day. "I planted seeds there long ago," the woman said. "And you, dear jar, have been watering them every morning. Because of your cracks, beauty follows wherever you go." The jar was silent. The stream murmured nearby, and a soft breeze carried the scent of flowers. That night, the jar did not try to hold more water than it could. It simply carried what it was able, trusting the rest would find its place. And so too, we can rest knowing that not everything we lose is truly lost. Sometimes what slips through our grasp nourishes unseen gardens along the way. The control we try to keep is often unnecessary. Life has already found its own quiet balance. As the moon rose higher above the mountain village, the sound of the stream deepened into a lullaby. Its song mingled with the whisper of pine branches and the distant call of an owl. The world, though still alive, seemed to breathe more slowly now, as if it too were drifting toward sleep. Imagine yourself there for a moment, sitting beside that same stream, watching the water flow. It never pauses, never hesitates, never decides which way to go. It simply moves, following the shape of the earth. Every pebble, every bend, every fallen leaf becomes part of its journey. The stream never worries where it will end, it trusts the slope of the land. And in that trust, there is peace. There was once a traveler who came upon such a stream on his way to a distant temple. He was weary from many days of walking, and from the weight of his own plans. He sat on a stone and watched the water rush past, impatient and full of foam. "I must reach the temple by dawn," he muttered to himself. "If I can cross this river quickly, I will make it in time." He began searching for a place to leap across, but the current was strong and the stones were slick with moss. In his haste, he slipped, falling into the cold water. The stream carried him downstream, not violently, but firmly, just enough to remind him that his strength meant little here. When he finally crawled onto the opposite bank, drenched and exhausted, he looked back at the river and began to laugh softly. "So this is how I cross," he said. "Not by control, but by surrender." The rest of his journey was slow and easy. When he arrived at the temple, the master at the gate asked, "Why are you wet?" The traveler bowed and replied, "Because I have learned that water knows better than I." The master smiled, understanding without another word, and motioned him inside. How often do we, too, try to cross the rivers of our own lives by force, rushing, pushing, trying to reach a place before its time? Yet every river knows its way. When we stop struggling, the current carries us precisely where we need to go. In this way, surrender is not defeat. It is the gentle wisdom of trusting life's intelligence. And so, as you listen now, you might let go just a little more. Let go of the need to plan tomorrow. Let go of the thoughts of what could have been or what might still come. They are only passing clouds. Beneath them, the sky remains vast and still. You are that sky. You have always been. There is another story told in the quiet valleys near Kyoto, where the rain falls soft and endless for days at a time. A novice monk named Kaito once grew frustrated by the weather. Every morning, he swept the temple courtyard, only to see it covered again in wet leaves within the hour. He began to feel hopeless, convinced that his effort was meaningless. "Why do I work at all?" he complained to his teacher. "If the wind and rain undo everything I do." The teacher smiled, his robe heavy with moisture, his hands folded calmly behind his back. "Sweep not to keep the ground clean," he said, "but to keep the mind clear." That night, Kaito could not sleep. He lay in his straw mat bed listening to the rain striking the roof, 1,000 tiny drums. The teacher's words echoed through his mind. Sweep not to keep the ground clean. He realized, then, that the act itself, the movement, the awareness, the simplicity of doing, was the practice. The rain would always fall. The leaves would always gather. But in sweeping them, he learned to be present, even when nothing stayed the same. In time, he came to love the rain. He swept slowly, gently, each stroke of the broom an expression of peace, not control. The courtyard remained covered in leaves, yet inside, his heart became as clear as morning sunlight. Now, as you breathe, imagine that rain falling softly outside your window. Endless, patient, kind. Each drop lands, dissolves, and disappears, yet the rhythm continues without interruption. Life is like that, always changing, yet never ceasing. The world does not demand that we stop the rain, it only asks that we listen to it. So much of what troubles the mind comes from our effort to make life conform to our will. We wish the weather would change, the people around us would act differently, the past could be rewritten, or the future known. Yet, between one heartbeat and the next, everything already is as it must be. The Zen masters teach that acceptance is not passive, it is a form of deep trust. It is saying to the universe, I am here, and this is enough. In another temple by the sea, where the gulls cry over the cliffs and the air smells of salt and pine, an old fisherman came to speak with a monk. I am losing my strength, he said. I used to battle the waves for hours, cast my nets far and haul in great catches. But now, I can barely lift the nets. The sea no longer gives me what I ask. The monk watched him quietly for a while, then asked, Do you still listen to the sea? The fisherman hesitated. I listen for its calm days, he said, for when I can go out and bring home enough fish. The monk nodded slowly. Then perhaps you have forgotten that the sea also speaks in its storms. That evening, the fisherman sat on the shore and listened. The waves rose and crashed, fierce and wild. But beneath the roar, he heard a deeper rhythm, the same pulse that lived within his chest. The tide came in, the tide went out. His heart beat in time with it. And he understood that the sea had never stopped speaking. It had only changed its voice. When he returned home, he still fished, but only when the sea invited him. When storms came, he rested. When calm returned, he set sail again. He no longer measured his worth by his catch, but by the quietness of his heart. And in that quietness, he found abundance that had nothing to do with fish. As you listen now, you might feel the rhythm of your own inner sea, the rise and fall of the breath, the ebb and flow of thoughts, the calm and the storm. You do not need to still the waves. You only need to listen. Between each inhale and exhale, between each heartbeat, there is a silence, a pause, a stillness that holds the whole of existence. That stillness is peace. It has been with you since the beginning, waiting patiently beneath the noise. Let that silence grow inside you now. Let the body soften even more, the muscles unwinding, the eyes growing heavy, the mind quieting like dust settling in sunlight. You are no longer trying to arrive anywhere. You are already home. The breath moves in, the breath moves out. Between them, the universe listens. The night deepened over the temple by the sea, and the moon rose higher, tracing a silver path across the waves. The wind had softened, the world exhaled. In the hush between sounds, you could almost hear the pulse of the ocean, steady, eternal, like the quiet rhythm of a heartbeat. The old fisherman, who once wrestled the sea for its gifts, now sat on a worn wooden step watching the moonlight tremble on the water. He no longer saw loss in the stillness. He saw belonging. The sea, the moon, the waves, his breath, all were moving in a single, endless rhythm. As the moon drifted among the clouds, another story unfolded somewhere far inland, where the mountains rise like sleeping giants and the wind carries the scent of cedar and earth. In a valley nestled between two peaks stood a monastery known for its silence. Travelers who passed through would often remark that even the birds there seemed to sing more softly, as though the air itself had been blessed with calm. In that monastery lived a young monk named Akio, who struggled more with silence than any of his brothers. Every morning, when the bell rang for meditation, Akio would sit cross-legged on the floor, close his eyes, and feel a restlessness bloom in his chest. His thoughts rushed like wild horses. Memories, plans, worries, questions. How long must I sit? He would wonder. What if I never find peace? The more he tried to quiet the noise, the louder it became. One day, after a particularly long session, Accio approached the abbot and confessed, "Master, I cannot find stillness. The harder I try, the more my thoughts race. It feels like I'm drowning in them." The abbot poured 2 cups of tea. He placed one in front of Accio and said, "Watch the steam rise." They sat in silence. The steam curled upward, then faded. "Where did it go?" the abbot asked. Accio frowned. "It disappeared." The abbot shook his head gently. "No, it did not disappear. It became part of the air. You cannot see it, but it is still here, moving quietly among us. Thoughts are the same. They rise, swirl, and fade into the vastness of mind. You do not need to chase them away, you only need to stop following them." That night, Accio returned to his cushion. When the thoughts came, he greeted them like guests at a tea house. "Ah," he whispered within, "you again." And then he let them pass. He watched the rhythm of his breath, the gentle beating of his heart, and the space between. Over time, the thoughts slowed, as clouds drift apart to reveal the blue sky that was there all along. Accio discovered that stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the peace that exists beneath it. You might notice that too, as you lie here now. The faint pulse behind the noise of your day, the quiet foundation that never moves. Beneath the rise and fall of breath, beneath the hum of thought, there is a still lake within you. When you stop stirring its surface, it reflects the entire sky. Another story tells of a woodcarver who lived on the edge of a great forest. He was known for his beautiful sculptures, animals so lifelike that the villagers believed he whispered to the trees before cutting them. One season, after many years of carving, his hands grew stiff with age. His blades no longer cut cleanly. Frustration crept into his heart. One evening, as he sat before an unfinished piece, he sighed and said aloud, "Why do the trees no longer speak to me?" An old friend passing by the workshop heard him and stepped inside. "Perhaps the trees have not stopped speaking," she said. "Perhaps you have stopped listening." The woodcarver lowered his tools and listened. At first, there was only the faint creak of the forest outside. Then he began to hear it, the rustle of leaves, the groan of trunks swaying in the wind, the slow rhythm of the earth breathing beneath them. Tears filled his eyes. "They were always speaking," he whispered. "I was too busy trying to shape them to my will." After that night, his carvings changed. They became simpler, softer, as though shaped not by hands but by wind and rain. When people asked how he achieved such beauty, he smiled and said, "I no longer carve the wood, I let the wood carve me." And perhaps that is what life does when we finally stop resisting. It shapes us quietly, patiently, into something truer than what we imagined. The cracks, the aging, the surrender, all of it becomes part of the design. The lesson flows like water through each of these stories. To release control is not to give up, but to return home to what was never lost. When we loosen our grip on how things should be, we discover how beautiful they already are. Now, the night grows quieter. The stars have gathered fully. The moon has crossed the center of the sky. The world breathes with you. If you listen closely, you might feel that breath shared by every living thing. The trees outside, the ocean far away, the unseen creatures sleeping in the dark. Each inhale you take is borrowed from the world. Each exhale is a gift returned. As you rest here, you might imagine the universe listening, not with ears, but with presence. Between your two heartbeats, it leans closer, holding you in its vast stillness. You do not need to do anything to deserve this peace. You do not need to become anyone. You are already enough, just as the flame was enough when it bent with the wind, just as the cracked jar was enough when it watered the flowers, just as the fisherman was enough when he listened to the sea. Let that knowing settle deep into your body, as warm and heavy as a blanket. Let it drift through your arms, your chest, your legs, until even your thoughts grow drowsy and slow. The breath moves in, the breath moves out. Between them, everything is listening. You are safe. You are home. You are the silence between two waves, the stillness between two breaths, the peace between two heartbeats. The night was vast. The stars had arranged themselves across the heavens like grains of salt scattered by an unseen hand. Beneath them, the world lay in deep meditation. Mountains resting like ancient guardians, rivers gliding unseen, and a faint wind carrying the fragrance of cedar and cool stone. In this hour, when the boundary between waking and dreaming grows thin, truth moves quietly, like moonlight slipping through the fingers of clouds. There is a story told by the wandering monks about a man who sought peace at all costs. He traveled from temple to temple, asking each master the same question: how can I stop the storms in my mind? Some told him to meditate more. Others offered chants and prayers. But still the storms raged within him, waves of anger, worry, and longing. One evening, weary from travel, he came to a riverside where a solitary monk was washing his bowl. The man bowed and said, "Master, please tell me how to silence my thoughts." The monk looked up, smiled, and said, "Show me where they begin." The traveler blinked. "Where they begin?" he repeated. "Yes," said the monk. "Bring me one of your thoughts. Place it here, in my hands." The man tried to do as he was told, but of course, no thought could be found, no shape could be held. The monk continued washing his bowl, saying, "You see? The mind's storms are made of mist. You do not still them by fighting, you simply walk through, and they vanish on their own." That night, the man sat beside the river, listening to the sound of the current. For the first time, he did not try to stop his thoughts. He let them rise and dissolve, until only the sound of the water remained. Somewhere in the quiet rhythm of the river, he fell asleep, and in that sleep, peace found him. In Zen, there is an old saying, when you stop searching for peace, it finds you sitting quietly where you began. Perhaps peace was never something to seek, but something to notice. Like the wind, it cannot be caught, only felt. Far beyond that river, where the land turned golden with fields of rice, another story took place. A farmer worked tirelessly from dawn until dusk, worried that the rains would not come, that his harvest would fail, that his family would go hungry. He prayed to the sky every day, begging for clouds, for thunder, for the kindness of rain. But the sky remained clear. His crops wilted. His heart sank. One evening, an old monk passing through the fields stopped to watch him. The farmer, seeing the robe, ran to him and cried, "Please, teach me how to make the rain fall." The monk looked toward the horizon, where the light of sunset shimmered across dry stalks. "I cannot make the rain fall," he said, "but I can show you where it begins." The farmer frowned. Where could rain begin, if not in the clouds? The monk knelt, cupped a handful of dust, and let it slip slowly through his fingers. "It begins here," he said, "in the earth's thirst. Without the emptiness, there can be no filling. Without the waiting, there can be no arrival." That night, the farmer stopped praying for clouds. Instead, he began to care for the soil itself, turning it gently, removing stones, letting it breathe. He found that when he worked with calm attention, even the dry earth seemed to soften under his touch. Days later, when the rains finally came, he wept with gratitude, not because his prayer had been answered, but because he understood that the waiting itself had been sacred. So much of our suffering comes from impatience, from believing that life should unfold on our command. Yet, even the seasons move in their own time. The trees do not beg for spring, they simply rest through winter, trusting that warmth will come. The same truth lives in us. When we stop forcing, life unfolds exactly as it should. And now, as you rest, perhaps you can feel that unfolding inside yourself, the slow, natural rhythm of letting go. There is nothing to hurry toward, nothing to fix, nothing to perfect. You are already part of this living stillness. Each breath carries you deeper into it, and between each heartbeat, the universe listens, patient and kind. In another place, high on a quiet mountain ridge, an ancient teacher sat surrounded by a circle of students. They had gathered to hear his final teaching before he entered his long meditation, one from which he would not return. The students asked eagerly, "Master, what is the secret of your peace?" The old man smiled. "I stopped arguing with life." The wind rustled through the pines as his words settled into their hearts. "When it rains," he said, I let it rain. When the sun burns, I let it burn. When sorrow comes, I do not resist. When joy comes, I do not cling. Peace is not found by taming the world, but by making friends with it. He closed his eyes, and his breath slowed until it matched the rhythm of the wind. The students watched in silence, feeling for the first time that the mountain itself was breathing through him. And so, peace is not something to win, but something to notice, something that has always been waiting beneath the noise. It is there in the way the stars linger above a sleeping village, in the way a mother's hand rests over her child's heart, in the way the tide recedes only to return again. Let this truth flow into you now. You do not have to control the world. You do not even have to control yourself. The breath moves in, the breath moves out. The body rests. The mind drifts. Between two heartbeats, the whole universe listens and smiles. You are safe, deeply safe, held by the same stillness that holds every star in its place. As you drift now, imagine that stillness spreading outward from you, into the night, into the trees, into the quiet corners of the world. Imagine it softening the edges of every worry, every sorrow, every restless thought. Nothing needs to be solved tonight. Nothing needs to be done. You can simply rest in the knowing that life, in its quiet wisdom, continues perfectly on its own. The story of tonight, of monks, rivers, farmers and sea, is only one story, but it holds many mirrors. Each one reflects a truth about you, that you are whole, even when you feel cracked, that you are guided, even when you feel lost, that peace is not far away, but already here, waiting in the silence between two breaths. The night grows softer still. The stars fade slightly behind a veil of thin cloud. The world begins its slow turning toward dawn. But before that light arrives, there is this deep, unbroken calm, where the breath and the heartbeat become one with the rhythm of the universe. Drift in that rhythm. Let it hold you. Let it cradle you into rest. Peace isn't found by changing the world, it's discovered by accepting this moment as it is. So let go now, gently, like a leaf released into the stream. Feel yourself floating. The water carries you. The universe listens. The night watches over you. And everything, absolutely everything, is at peace. The stars had begun to fade, one by one, like lanterns slowly dimming in a temple after the ceremony has ended. A pale light hovered at the edge of the world. The air was cool and tender, carrying the faint scent of dew and pine. The moon lingered low, reluctant to leave, while the first birds stirred softly in the branches. Everything waited, not in tension, but in calm expectancy, as though creation itself was pausing between breaths. On a distant hillside, a solitary monk named Haru awoke before the sun. He had spent the night meditating beneath a grove of bamboo, listening to the wind weave through the hollow stems. Each rustle sounded like a whisper from the unseen, gentle, ancient, kind. As he opened his eyes, he noticed a single drop of water hanging from the tip of a bamboo leaf, trembling in the soft light. It swayed, bright as a tiny star, before it finally fell and disappeared into the earth. Haru smiled. "So this," he whispered, "is what the world has been teaching all along." The drop did not resist falling. It did not cling to the leaf or fear the ground. Its surrender was simple, graceful, inevitable, and through that surrender, it rejoined the larger stream of life. He rose and walked toward the edge of the grove, where the valley spread beneath him like a vast green sea. The mist was rising, delicate and slow, and the sound of a river reached him from far below. Each movement of nature seemed to echo the same teaching: everything in its time, everything in its flow. He remembered what his teacher once said to him long ago: "When you can trust the fall as much as the flight, you will know peace." As he stood there, the first light of morning broke across the peaks. The valley turned golden, and with it came a stillness so complete that he felt he could hear the heartbeat of the earth. He placed a hand on his chest and found the rhythm there, steady, patient, ancient as the world. Between one heartbeat and the next, there was no separation between himself and everything around him. The mountains breathed. The river moved. The wind sighed. And he, too, was part of that movement. In that moment, Haru understood that surrender was not the end of effort, but the beginning of harmony. To live in harmony with life's flow is to stop struggling against its currents, to let the river carry you while you keep your eyes open, your heart soft, your spirit awake. The light grew stronger. The birds began to sing. The sky deepened from silver to blue. And as the sun rose fully, the world was renewed, yet nothing had been forced. The dawn came not because anyone willed it, but because that is what dawns do. Life unfolds perfectly on its own, when we stop trying to command it. Imagine that now, the first light of day touching the edges of your own heart. Feel it like warmth returning to cold hands. It does not rush in, it simply arrives. It finds you exactly as you are, weary, or calm, or somewhere in between, and it rests there. The light asks for nothing. It just shares its presence. Somewhere inside you, there is that same dawn, a quiet radiance that appears when you no longer chase it. You may have spent many days trying to fix yourself, trying to be better, trying to hold life together. But here, in this moment between one heartbeat and the next, you can let all of that fall away. You do not need to improve the sunrise, you only need to watch it. And when you do, you may notice that nothing is missing. The soft rhythm of breath, the calm weight of your body, the stillness in your chest, they are enough. The peace you sought was never somewhere else. It has always been here, waiting in the silence that follows every exhale. Haru watched the morning unfold until the mist lifted entirely. Then he turned back toward the temple path. Each step he took was light, unhurried, like the steps of someone walking through a dream. When he reached the gate, he paused, looking up at the open sky. "Thank you," he whispered, to the wind, to the earth, to everything that had carried him this far without his knowing. He did not need to understand where the path would lead next. It was enough to walk it, one breath at a time, in rhythm with the great unfolding of all things. Now, as the story draws to its close, feel that same rhythm within you. The day may be coming, or the night may still be deep where you are, it does not matter. Time, too, is only another wave in the great ocean. What matters is this gentle awareness, that peace was never something to earn, only something to remember. Let that remembrance settle in you. Feel how your breath slows even more. How your heartbeat softens. How the space between them, that silent pause, that infinite listening, expands until it holds the whole universe. Between two heartbeats, there is no striving. Between two heartbeats, there is no past, no future. There is only this, the quiet pulse of existence, steady and endless. And within that stillness, everything you have ever longed for is already present. So rest now. Let your body drift as the world drifts. Let your thoughts dissolve like morning mist. The earth breathes with you. The stars above you are fading, but their light remains in the quiet of your heart. You are surrounded by peace, soft, eternal, vast. Between two heartbeats, the universe listens. And in that listening, you are home. The light that touched the hills lingers in the air like a promise. You can imagine it spreading through the leaves, across the water, through the open door of a small room where you are resting. The sound around you is very soft now, perhaps the hum of night insects, the faraway sigh of wind, or only the hush inside your own body. Everything that needed to be done has been done. Everything that has not been done can rest until morning. Let your breath deepen. Feel how it fills you without effort, how it empties without asking. With every slow inhale, there is a quiet gathering. With every exhale, a gentle release. It is the rhythm of the tide, of wings rising and falling, of the universe itself breathing through you. If thoughts come, let them float by like small leaves on the surface of a stream. Watch them drift away until only the water remains. There is no need to push anything aside, even your thoughts belong to this moment. Everything here is accepted. You might picture yourself walking along a shore at dawn. The sand is cool beneath your feet, the sea calm and wide. Each step leaves a print that fills gently with water, then disappears. You look back and see that the sea has already erased the path behind you. Ahead of you, the horizon glows. The waves whisper, "Go on. You are safe." You listen. You believe them. Now you begin to feel the quiet weight of sleep approaching, soft, like fog drifting inland. It moves slowly up your legs, across your arms, to your chest and your face. Your body understands. It knows what to do. Every muscle, every bone, every thought loosens its hold. The ground beneath you feels steady, kind. You are being carried, as gently as the leaf that falls into the stream and becomes the stream. Remember what the monk said, when you can trust the fall as much as the flight, you will know peace. You are trusting now. You are falling not into darkness, but into rest, into the arms of something vast and tender that has been waiting for you all along. As your breathing slows, the boundary between you and the world dissolves. The air that leaves you becomes the air that feeds the trees. The stillness that fills you becomes the stillness of the mountains. You are not separate. You are part of this great breathing, this endless rhythm between two heartbeats. Stay here as long as you wish. There is nowhere else to go. The story has ended, but the peace within it continues. Between one heartbeat and the next, the universe listens, and in that listening, you are completely known. Sleep now, quietly, easily. The river flows, the moon sets, the dawn waits with patience. All is well. All has always been well. The night remains soft around you. Even as the first light begins to gather somewhere far beyond your closed eyes, the darkness here is gentle, like a cloak that holds and protects. Every sound is distant now, the faint breath of wind, the quiet turning of the earth. You are floating within it, half awake, half dreaming, in the tender space where the world has not yet chosen its shape. If you listen closely, you can still hear the echoes of the stories, the whisper of the monk's sweeping leaves, the laughter of the cracked jar, the sigh of the sea, the stillness of the bamboo grove. They drift through you like small waves returning to the shore. Each carries the same message. There is nothing to hold, nothing to chase, nothing to fix. Life has already made you whole. You can feel that wholeness now, spreading quietly through every part of you. Your breath moves in, your breath moves out, and beneath it, your heart beats in a rhythm older than thought. Between those beats, there is a silence that listens, a space vast enough to hold all that you are. Rest there. It is safe. The light of morning grows behind your eyelids, a soft gold that touches the edges of your awareness. You may see it as warmth, as color, or simply as a feeling, a quiet invitation to return, slowly, to the waking world. But there is no need to rush. Even waking can be part of the meditation. Just breathe, and let the light find you when it is ready. In the stories, dawn never arrives all at once. It unfolds like breath, gentle, continuous. The world wakes leaf by leaf, stone by stone. In the same way, you may let yourself awaken, if you wish, moment by moment. Or you may remain here, drifting in the half-dream where peace lives, the space between two heartbeats, where everything listens, where everything is already enough. As you rest in that space, notice the small gratitude that rises naturally. Not for anything specific, but for being. For this breath. For this stillness. For this life, unfolding without your effort. Gratitude has no words here. It is simply the quiet hum of existence recognizing itself. If you open your inner eyes, you may see the morning as the monks once did, not as a new beginning to chase, but as a continuation of what has always been. The same sky, the same air, the same eternal rhythm, breathing through form after form. You are that rhythm. You are that sky. You are that listening. And so, as you drift now, whether into the gentle clarity of waking or deeper into the soft current of sleep, you can carry this knowing with you, that between every breath, between every thought, between every heartbeat, peace waits patiently. It does not need to be summoned. It simply is. The world will move again. The sun will rise, the birds will sing, the day will unfold. Yet beneath all of it, this stillness remains, constant and kind, the quiet center of all movement. Return to it whenever you need. It is always here, in the silence between words, in the pause between breaths, in the heartbeat that carries you through every moment. Now, there is nothing more to do. Let the body rest completely. Let the breath move on its own. Let the heart beat softly in its rhythm with the world. The universe listens. The universe breathes with you. The universe holds you, gently, endlessly. Sleep, if you wish. Dream, if you must. Or simply rest in the vast awareness that lies between two heartbeats. Here, there is no separation, no striving, no fear. There is only peace, the quiet song of life, continuing forever, inside and all around you. The night deepens into quiet, though the edge of morning glows faintly beyond the horizon. You can feel the rhythm of the world continuing, unhurried. The breath moves softly in and out, the body rises and falls. There is only this gentle motion, the same one that rocks the sea and stirs the leaves. You might imagine that you are lying beneath an open sky. The air is cool, the scent of grass and rain lingers. Somewhere nearby a small stream speaks in a language older than words. It doesn't rush, it doesn't seek. It only moves, and in moving it sings. Each sound it makes seems to tell you, this moment is enough. Your body understands. The muscles in your shoulders release a little more. The thoughts that used to race begin to thin out, to lose their sharpness. They are just small clouds, fading into the wide expanse of awareness. You are the sky that holds them all. Let the breath deepen again. Notice how it connects you to everything around you. The same air that fills your lungs is passing through the trees, through the wings of night birds, through the sleeping fields. You are not apart from it. You are part of this endless circle, this shared pulse that joins everything living. There is a peace that grows quietly in this understanding. It doesn't need to be named. It arrives the way dawn arrives, slowly, inevitably. When you release the need to direct it, it comes closer on its own. In the distance, you might hear the first bird calling. It isn't loud, it is simple and clear. It sings because it is time to sing, not because it seeks anything in return. That is the nature of life when it is trusted, effortless, natural, whole. You are beginning to drift now. You might not notice when the thoughts slip fully away, when the sound of your breath becomes the only thing left. That's all right. The world will hold you while you rest. The ground beneath you is steady, the air around you kind. Every time your heart beats, it whispers a small secret. You belong. Between those beats, the universe listens, and in that silence, all that you are is received. There is nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to fear. There is only this soft presence, and it is enough. Let yourself sink a little deeper into that silence. The muscles of the face loosen, the eyes rest. The space behind the eyes opens like a vast field at dusk. You are lying there, weightless. The field extends forever, filled with silver light and gentle wind. There is no beginning, no end, just breath, just stillness, just peace. The stories have ended, but their echo remains, a reminder that you can always let go, that surrender is not loss but return. When you trust the flow, you find the path beneath your feet without looking. When you stop reaching, life reaches for you. Now, sleep if you wish. Let the silence cradle you. Let your heartbeat and the universe fall into the same slow rhythm. Between two heartbeats, the universe listens, and in that listening, all is well. The world has gone quiet now, wrapped in the deep hush that comes before dawn. The air is cool and tender, brushing gently across your skin. Somewhere, the faintest trace of incense lingers, rising like memory itself. In this stillness, you are neither fully awake nor asleep. You are suspended in that sacred pause between what has been and what will be. The universe listens here. Imagine the mountains resting under the stars. Their peaks, usually sharp and defined, are softened by mist. Rivers wind through their valleys, glinting faintly where moonlight touches them. The world feels timeless, vast, yet tender. It has always been breathing like this, long before you were born, long after your worries fade into silence. In a small temple high upon one of these mountains, a young monk named Taro tended a single flame through the night. The candle stood before a statue of the Buddha, its wax pooling slowly, its light flickering like a heartbeat. Outside, the wind moved through bamboo and cedar, whispering secrets older than thought. Taro was troubled. The temple master had spoken that day of surrender, of the way to peace being found not in striving, but in release. But Taro did not understand. How can I surrender, he had asked, when I still wish to do good, to help, to learn, to awaken? The master had smiled, but said nothing. Instead, he had pointed toward the garden, and told Taro to light a candle at dusk, and keep it burning through the night. Watch it, he said, until the lesson reveals itself. So Taro watched. 4 hours, the flame danced steadily, and his thoughts raced beside it. He wondered if enlightenment would appear in the flicker, if some vision or voice would speak through the smoke. But as the hours passed, his thoughts grew heavy and quiet. The candle burned lower, its flame smaller now, gentler. At last, the wax was nearly gone, and Taro felt sadness rise in his chest. No, he whispered. Not yet. He reached out as if to protect it, to shelter the light from the coming end. But the flame quivered once, twice, and went out. In the sudden darkness, Taro's breath caught. For a moment, he felt lost, until he noticed something. The silence after the flame went out was not empty. It was full. The air seemed to hum with quiet life. The faint light from the moon slipped through the paper doors, touching the floor like silver water. Everything was exactly as it should be. Then he heard the voice of the master outside the door, low and gentle. You see, my child. The candle did not die, it only became what it always was, light without boundary. When it burned, it showed you its form. When it went out, it showed you its truth. Taro bowed his head. The lesson was simple and perfect. He realized he had tried to control what was never his to control, the life of the flame, the timing of its end. Yet in its extinguishing, there was no loss. Only return. You can breathe with that lesson now. Inhale gently, as if drawing in the light of that candle. Exhale softly, as if releasing it back into the quiet night. Feel how the breath moves in you like a tide, effortless, balanced. Outside the temple, dawn approached. The mountains glowed faintly, and the sound of the river grew stronger. As the first birds began their morning song, Taro stepped into the courtyard. Each drop of dew on the grass shimmered, catching the newborn sun. He bowed to the light, not because he felt commanded to, but because gratitude rose naturally in him, like breath. Sometimes we learn most clearly when the light fades. The flame that goes out teaches us the beauty of its glow. The silence after the song reminds us that peace was there all along. Now, the story moves to a distant village by the sea, where another teaching waits to unfold. There lived an old fisherman named Soren, who spent his life following the tides. His hair was white, his hands worn and strong, his eyes calm like deep water. He owned a small boat and fished only enough to eat, never more. One evening, a traveler came to him from the city, carrying heavy burdens of thought and ambition. You live so simply, the traveler said. Don't you ever wish for more wealth, more recognition, more control over your life? Soren looked out at the sea, which shimmered under the setting sun. I used to, he said softly. When I was young, I tried to command the waves. I threw my nets too soon or too late, cursed the wind, fought the current. But one day, in a great storm, I lost my oars. My boat spun helplessly. I thought I would die. Then something changed. I stopped fighting. I lay down, closed my eyes, and trusted the sea to carry me. When I opened them again, I was home. The traveler frowned. That sounds like surrender. It is, said Soren. But surrender is not defeat. It is faith in the larger rhythm that moves through all things. I no longer control the sea, yet the sea and I move together. The traveler stayed that night, listening to the waves outside the hut. He could not sleep at first, his mind tossed like the tide, but eventually, lulled by the sound of water against wood, he drifted off. In his dreams, he floated in a vast ocean that supported him completely. He realized, even in sleep, that he did not need to swim to stay afloat. The ocean itself held him. You too can let yourself be held. Feel the weight of the bed beneath you, the soft pull of gravity that asks nothing from you. You are supported by the earth, by breath, by the quiet rhythm of being. There is nothing left to do. Soren woke before dawn, as he always did, and the traveler watched him push his small boat into the silver morning sea. The water was calm, the horizon endless. For a moment, the world was still. Then, as Soren raised his sail, the wind filled it, perfectly, effortlessly. The boat began to glide forward, not through struggle but through harmony. That is the way life moves when you stop fighting its currents. Breathe again. The air moves in and out of you with the same rhythm. Each inhale a tide returning, each exhale a tide releasing. Notice how peaceful that motion feels when you stop trying to control it. The stories fade now, like ripples settling on a still pond. But their echo remains within you. The candle's light, the fisherman's surrender, the monk's stillness. They are all the same teaching, that peace lives in the pause between what you wish and what is. Outside your own window, whether it is night or early dawn, the world continues in its quiet balance. The wind moves through trees, the stars drift across the sky, the oceans breathe. Somewhere, a small flame flickers in a temple, another wave folds into the shore, another heart beats softly in the dark. You are part of that same rhythm. You can rest in it now. Let go of the need to shape the moment. Feel yourself sinking into the embrace of what already is. Between one heartbeat and the next, everything aligns, perfectly, effortlessly, beautifully. The universe listens. And in that listening, you are home. The quiet deepens around you until sound itself becomes a kind of softness. The stories you have heard still echo faintly. The candle's light, the boat's surrender, the mountain mist, and each one is a ripple fading into still water. What remains now is only the rhythm of breath and the feeling of being carried. If you listen carefully, you can hear the night breathing with you. It is a long, slow exhale that moves through the trees, across the fields, over the hills. The same air touches the surface of the sea far away and then returns to you, cool and tender. You are not separate from it. Every breath you take is part of this long conversation between your body and the world. Imagine lying on your back in a garden. The earth beneath you is firm but gentle, giving way just enough to cradle your weight. The scent of wet soil and night flowers rises around you. Above, the sky is vast and dark blue, scattered with stars. They look still, but if you watch long enough, you can sense their slow turning. The entire universe is moving, and you are moving with it. There is no need to reach for the stars, they are already shining through you. There is no need to grasp the earth, it already holds you. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Long ago, another monk, this one named May, lived beside a small lake hidden deep in a valley. Each morning she would walk to the water's edge and bow to her reflection. One day a young student asked her, "Master, why do you bow to yourself?" May smiled. "I do not bow to myself," she said. "I bow to the water that allows me to see myself. Without it, I would forget that I, too, am part of the sky." The student frowned. "And what do you see in the water when it ripples?" "I see truth," May answered. "Truth is not still. It dances. It changes shape and shines differently with every wave. When I bow, I thank the lake for reminding me that even in movement, I can be at peace." That night the student tried what the master had taught. He stood beside the lake under the moon and watched his own reflection tremble in the water. At first, he wanted to smooth it, to make it still so that he could see himself clearly. Then he realized what May had meant. Peace was not in the stillness of the reflection, but in the stillness of the watcher. You can feel that same teaching now. The breath moves, the heart beats, thoughts come and go like ripples on water. But beneath them, there is something unmoving, the watcher, the listening. That stillness is you. It has never changed, no matter how many thoughts or feelings have passed through it. Let yourself rest in that stillness. Each inhale fills you with quiet light. Each exhale releases everything that no longer serves you. The body grows heavy and warm. The mind softens. The space between breaths widens until it feels infinite. Outside, the night begins to lift its veil. The first colors of dawn stretch across the horizon, faint pink, pale gold, the silver blue of water before sunrise. The stars fade one by one, not hurriedly, but with a kind of grace, as if they are bowing out after a long vigil. In the valley, May stands again by her lake. Mist curls over the surface like smoke, and when the first ray of sunlight touches it, the whole world seems to shimmer. The student joins her, and together they watch the day awaken. "Master," the student says, "what are we watching for?" "For nothing," May replies. "The watching itself is enough." The student nods. He understands now that peace is not a prize to win or a state to reach. It is the natural result of letting go. When we stop trying to force the moment into shape, the moment shows us its perfection. The light strengthens. Birds begin to sing. The water glows. May closes her eyes and breathes deeply, and you can breathe with her, slow, full, content. Now the story returns to you. Wherever you are, the same dawn is unfolding somewhere in the world. The same rhythm moves through your breath, your pulse, the turning of the planet beneath you. It has no beginning and no end. Between one heartbeat and the next, the universe listens, and in that listening there is complete peace. Let that peace settle into every part of you. Feel it in your hands, in your shoulders, in the soft weight of your eyelids. Feel it spread through your chest and down to your toes. You are floating now, supported by everything that is. The earth is beneath you, the sky above you, and you are the space between. There is a whisper in that space, gentle as a breeze through bamboo. Be still. You are already home. The whisper fades into silence. The silence deepens until it is a presence, a warmth, a vast comfort. This is the heart of the story, the place where all words end and only being remains. Stay here as long as you wish. You can sleep here, dream here, breathe here. The universe is listening, and in its listening, it holds you completely. When you finally drift into sleep, or into the soft awareness that lies beyond sleep, know that you are carried by the same current that moves the stars and the sea. Nothing more is required of you. Nothing has ever been missing. Between two heartbeats, the universe listens. Between two breaths, life renews itself. Between two thoughts, you are free. Rest now. The night, the dawn, the breath, all are one continuous moment. All is well. The light of morning spreads slowly across the world. It moves with the same patience as the tide, a pale, silken brightness that touches treetops first, then rooftops, then the sleeping earth. The air is cool and new, as if each molecule has been washed clean by night. Somewhere nearby, a bell sounds once, low and resonant. Its tone lingers in the air like a ripple, then fades into silence. You are still in that quiet place between sleep and waking. The body breathes easily. The mind drifts. You don't need to decide whether to open your eyes or to rest longer. Both choices belong to the same stillness. In the fields below the mountain, the dew shines like countless small stars. A farmer begins his morning work. His movements are slow, steady, peaceful. With each step, he bows slightly to the soil, honoring it without words. He has learned, over many seasons, that his labor is never truly separate from the rain, or the sun, or the turning of the earth. Some years, the harvest is generous. Some years, it is sparse. Yet he never blames nor celebrates too much. He simply continues, one breath, one seed at a time. When travelers ask him his secret, he always smiles and says, "I work with what is given, not with what I wish." Then he wipes the earth from his hands and adds, "The field teaches me everything I need to know about the mind." The travelers usually don't understand right away, but you can. The field he speaks of is not only the land, it is the heart. Some days it receives sunlight, some days rain. Thoughts and emotions come and go like seasons. But if you tend your inner field with gentleness and patience, peace grows naturally. You might imagine that field now, vast, green, open beneath a rising sun. The soil is rich and dark. The wind moves lightly across it. Each blade of grass sways in rhythm with your breath. When you inhale, the world fills with light. When you exhale, everything softens. In a nearby village, a small tea house opens its doors to the morning. The sound of water boiling mingles with the first calls of birds. Inside, an old woman named Hanami prepares tea the same way she has for 50 years. Her movements are deliberate, slow, silent. Steam rises from the pot in gentle spirals. The light touches the rim of the porcelain cups and glows faintly. Once, a guest asked her, "Why do you make tea so slowly? Isn't it the same drink, whether you rush or not?" Hanami smiled, her eyes bright. "The tea does not change," she said. "But the one who drinks it does." She poured the tea then, one slow stream, steady and shining. "When you move slowly," she added, "you can taste what was always there. You can picture that now, the warmth of the cup in your hands, the scent of roasted leaves, the rising steam. Each detail invites you to be fully here, in this moment. There is no hurry, nowhere else to be. The act of drinking becomes a meditation. The tea becomes the world. The same truth lives in every small task, the way you walk, breathe, listen. Life does not ask you to rush through it. It asks only for your presence. When you give it that, everything becomes complete on its own. Outside, clouds drift across the sky. A breeze stirs the chimes that hang at the teahouse door. Their sound is thin, pure, and fleeting. The old woman looks up from her work and smiles again. "Each sound passes," she says softly. "If we try to hold it, it breaks. But if we listen, it stays with us forever." Her words drift out into the air like the chimes' echo. They reach you, here, wherever you are resting. The truth is simple. Peace cannot be held or owned, it can only be noticed. It is here now, moving quietly between the heartbeats, waiting to be felt. You can breathe into that awareness. Each inhale draws in stillness. Each exhale releases whatever you no longer need. Thoughts may appear, like birds flying across the open sky of your mind. Let them come and go. The sky does not chase the birds, nor does it fear their passing. The day continues to unfold in its own way. The farmer in his field hums a song without words. The old woman pours tea for another guest. Somewhere far away, the monk Taro lights a new candle and bows to the empty space where the old one burned. The same rhythm connects them all, the same breath that moves through mountains, rivers, and your own body now. You can rest in that rhythm. You are part of it, not separate. The sun has risen higher. Its warmth touches your face, even if only in your imagination. The light is golden now, filled with quiet promise. Every living thing around you seems to sigh in contentment. The world is awake, yet still serene. As you rest, you may feel gratitude arising, soft, natural, without reason. Gratitude for breath, for the steady pulse of the heart, for the ground that holds you, for the sky that shelters you. This gratitude has no words, it is the language of being itself. The light deepens. Shadows stretch gently across the land. Somewhere, the river glimmers as it flows, never stopping, never clinging to its banks. It moves on and on, carrying fallen leaves, reflections of clouds, fragments of sky. And yet, though the water never stays the same, the river is always the river. So it is with you. Each breath changes you, each heartbeat renews you, and yet the awareness that watches remains untouched. You are the river and the witness both. Let that knowing settle deep inside you. Feel it like warmth spreading through the chest, like sunlight entering the heart. This is what it means to trust life's flow, not to abandon yourself, but to realize you were never separate from the current. Now, the world around you softens again. The day that began with light will end with it too. The cycle continues, morning to evening, breath to breath. Somewhere, a temple bell rings again, marking the passage of time that does not truly exist. The sound is low, rich, endless. It expands through the air and then fades into silence. That silence is vast and kind. You can rest in it as though it were your own breath. There is nothing left to learn, nothing to solve. Only this, the stillness that has been here from the beginning, the quiet that listens between two heartbeats. Stay in that silence as long as you wish. Let it cradle you. Let it dissolve every last trace of effort. You are not apart from the world. You are the breath of it, the pause of it, the peace at its center. When you finally sleep, the earth will breathe with you. The river will continue to flow. The stars will shine above, and the universe will listen. Always. Between two heartbeats, the universe listens. Between two breaths, you are free. All is well.